El exec, el exec, el exec. El Vélez, el Vélez, el Vélez. El fenómeno que todos quieren ser. El chamaquito que no pueden entender.
How we doing, guys? Welcome to the Exec Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Alds. Welcome to episode 145. How we doing? We got a lot to get to. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you're new. Hit the comments. Follow me on all my socials. Episode 145, jam-packed. From NASCAR to baseball, basketball, football, college football. We got a lot of breaking news that just happened today, so I'm gonna break them right here. That you've probably seen on ESPN and stuff like that. So first of all, let's start off with everybody with Hurricane Helene still feeling the after effects. Now come Hurricane Milton. Excuse me. T's and P's to everybody. Thoughts and prayers to everybody out there. Get ready, get out of there. If you're staying in, make sure you're hunkered down real tight. It's a Category 5 hurricane right now. So, I think it's safer for you guys to get out. But if you can't, hunker down, have your food, have your peoples with you, make sure that you're not spread out, and we'll all survive. Amen. All right, let's get to the biggest news of the day. Biggest news of the day is Robert Saleh got fired. Woo! Why do I say that? Listen. I'm not all for firing coaches and stuff like that. And this is a surprise. I thought it would be, honestly, because of how the Saints are started. That kind of took Dennis Williams' name out of it. But I thought maybe somebody I wouldn't say the Panthers. I mean, Canales just got there. Stefanski's too good of a coach for Cleveland to let him go, no matter how bad they are, even though it's pretty bad. Doug Peterson has too much cachet around the league to let him go. So I thought it would be somebody else. Not even Dayball, probably. Dan Quinn just got the job. They're trying to, basically clean the image and clean house there, personnel-wise from the old regime. So I don't think that getting rid of Dan Quinn would have been smart either. And it's too early. We're week 5. I could understand this maybe week 8, week 9, when you really don't have a shot, when you don't, you cannot see going to the playoffs. But you guys are 2-3. And guess what? A lot of the AFC is 2-3. So, which is something that we're going to talk about as we go through these games. The AFC is not all it's cracked up to be like we planned. The murderer's row of quarterbacks, the good teams, the weapons. It's a little bit of cannibalizing, but there's some good teams that are not good out here that we thought were going to be good. So, there's some surprise teams as well. We'll talk about those, but so Saleh gets fired. My first thought was, if you were gonna do it, I'm gonna go with the Dan Orlovsky, argument that he put up this morning on Get Up. Why not sooner? Why not in the off season? So you if it was gonna be Danny Aldrich, who's gonna take over, I believe that's his name, or Greg. Let me see. Hold up. Let me see exactly who it is that is took over. Because they didn't give it to Hackett. That makes sense. They're not going to give it to Hackett. So, because you saw the disaster that it was in the Broncos. So, it's probably on ESPN. I could go on Twitter, but Stephen A. wasn't surprised about it. Of course not. The Jets owner, so it was Woody Johnson's idea to fire him, nobody else's. So that should tell you that this was a very internal matter for the owner to be the only one to go ahead and just, get rid of it. Now, he was thinking about, how do I say this? He was thinking about firing Nathaniel Hackett before he got fired. That's what the reports are, that he was, he was kind of pondering it, firing him. So, man, I can't. It's not on ESPN. Jesus Christ. Twitter, X is the best. X, you just find, you put it in your bookmarks and you find it. Here it is. Robert Saleh was considering firing Nathaniel Hackett. Okay, now I need who took over for him. Greg Ulrich, I believe is his name. The defensive coach. Jeff. All right, so I was right. Jeff. All right, no, I said Danny. So I was off. Jeff Ulrich, respected coach, defensive coordinator. Listen, if you were going to pick him, or if Belichick or whoever you thought, Ben Johnson or anybody you thought, well, actually, if you would have done it in the offseason, you would have done it early offseason so you get a chance at these coaches, Ben Johnson and the people, and Bobby Slowick and the people of alike. But if you were just going to do Jeff Ulrich, why didn't you do it in the offseason before training camp? So this guy can instill his culture, instill the vision. Now you're just giving him a bunch of broken plates and basically saying, this is what you're doing. Find out what you do with this. Good luck. I'm hoping that you save the franchise this year, because Woody Johnson was probably thinking, there's circles that people were thinking like this might be the only shot that I have with Aaron Rodgers the last year, even though he said he wants to play for multiple years, but getting hit like the way he does and the way he's getting pressured right now with that offensive line is still incredible how they haven't fixed that with the type of quarterback they have. But we're going to talk about all their issues and stuff like that when we get into their game. But for Saleh, I mean, what's he going to do? He's probably going to, Kyle Shanahan's probably going to get him back into like a, advisory role or some stuff on defense. That's where he came from. He came from San Francisco. They usually recover their people and then shoot them out again. So, yeah, I think he'll be fine. He's still getting paid. He still has a year or 2 years on his contract, so he's still going to get paid. So maybe he takes a vacation. Who knows? Maybe he needs it. The next thing is Drake May, named the starter for this week against the Texans. Listen, I understand when it's bad, guys, okay? And I told you it was going to be this bad. But I told you from the beginning of the season, do not play this kid. Not because he's bad. No, this is not a slight towards him. This is a slight and a shot and whatever you want to call it. I don't know, a wake-up call to, Pat's front office, Pat coaches, even Robert Kraft. Like, your team is not good on the offensive side of the ball. It is not good. Like, it is bad. It is doo-doo garbage. It is garbage mustache, bro. Like, offensive line, garbage. Pass blocking, last in the league. Brissett is getting pressured 47% of the time. You're talking about almost 50% of my dropbacks. I'm getting pressured. Excuse me, I'm still a little sick, so if I have to cough, excuse me about that. But what? 47% highest rate for any team allowing pressure since 2006. So this is historic levels of inaccuracy, like just bad O-line play. On top of that, you have the worst bottom 5, I would say bottom 3 receiving core in the league. Demario Davis. Jalen Polk hasn't developed yet. It's been 5 games. Yet. I think he will. Okay? And Tyquan Thornton, you have Hunter Henry. Your best player is Ramondre Stevenson. I think he got hurt. So hopefully he's not gone, but I think he got hurt this past game. So I wouldn't start this kid. You're going to start him against Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson and D'Amico Ryans so he can run with his head cut off and possibly get hurt. No, but we need the athleticism. We don't like the athleticism at the position right now. You know why you need the athleticism? Because you can't block. There is no blocking. This is your blocking. Your blocking is that. Every time Drake May is going to step back, this is what he's going to be hearing. I'm coming to get you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not conducive. That's not a good conducive environment for a quarterback to develop in a positive way. You did this to Mac Jones. You thought you had something after his rookie year. Drake May is a lot more talented than Mac Jones, just athletically, period. His arm is insane. But at the same time, you're not going to have this kid like Josh Allen in his first year literally running with his head cut off, taking giant hits on 5-yard gains. That is not conducive to a positive culture, because the kid's gonna lose confidence in himself, saying, "Man, I can't play. Like, I'm running around. I can't even throw the ball. Like, I don't got a window to throw to. There's no separation between the receivers. Dumpster fire." And I told you, this is what you get when you are pampered by 20 years of two of the greatest people to ever grace this game in Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Once those two masterminds are gone, this is what the franchise boils down to. So, I like Jared Mayo and stuff like that, but your best player on your team right now, as we speak, is between Ramondre Stevenson and Christian Gonzalez. Those are the two best players on your team. Christian Gonzalez is being probably the best cornerback this year, if not Patrick Surtain from the Broncos. That's a legit. That's what you wanted last year from his rookie year. Well, now in his sophomore year after the ACL, that's what he's doing, shutting down people. But on the offensive side of the ball, you got no chance in hell to beat anybody that has a semblance of an offense. Because all they have to do is score 10 to 13 points, and then you're not doing nothing? I think it's a bad decision. I think it's too early. I think it's a scape out, for the bad play. They're going to be like, oh, we need new energy. We need more athleticism at the position. You're going to get this kid killed. And it's just going to be another cautionary tale of playing your rookie QB too early because you're pressured because of what's happening and you're the fans and what's happening with the team, while not putting them in an environment conducive to success and winning at the quarterback position in the NFL. It's just what it is. All right. Let's get to NASCAR real quick. Ricky Stenhouse won at Talladega. Beautiful, wonderful race. Not a lot of cautions except at the end. We had one big one, took out 28 cars. Well, it didn't take out 28 cars. 28 cars were involved. Took out 18. Some heavy playoff contenders, including Chase Elliott, even though he tried to finish the race. But it was a 0.006 of a second finish. Ricky Stenhouse, Keselowski, Kyle Larson. That was 1, 2, and 3. Was it Larson or Byron? It might have been Byron. Let me double check that for you guys real quick. I believe. Well, I don't believe. I know Stenhouse won. I know Keselowski was second. Third, I believe, was Byron, because Kyle Larson was restarted sixth. So I believe it was William Byron. But like I said, all the Hendrick cars ran well. The 48 ran well. The 9 was running well until he crashed. In that big wreck. Yes, Stenhouse, Keselowski, Byron, Kyle Larson fourth, and then Eric Jones fifth. Big notables, Christopher Bell finished sixth. You had Austin Dillon in 8. Bubba finished 9th, wasn't in. Denny finished 10th, though he escaped himself. Martin finished 11th. Ty Gibbs 13th. Kyle Busch 19th. Reddick was involved in that wreck. He finished 20th. Daniel Suarez finished 26th. He was also in the wreck. AJ was in the wreck. Chase Elliott finished 29th. He was also in the wreck. Chase Briscoe was in the wreck. Austin Cindric was in the wreck, and they were leading. Joey Logano, Austin Cindric, that's where it started. What happened was that Keselowski hit Austin Cindric. Like, Austin Cindric was kind of moving. It was during the straightaway. So when you're drafting, you have to make sure that you center your front bumper to the back bumper of the front of your front car. You don't want to hit him with a bump. Remember, this bump is coming. We're talking about 5-6 miles per hour faster than the car in front of him, and it's coming from the back. So it's a lot of people pushing, and momentum builds up. So the big pushes happen. So on the last push, the last two cars on the front end, which was Keselowski and Keselowski and Austin Cindric in the two Fords, Penske and an RFK. Cindric was coming off the corner, and he hadn't straightened himself back up yet, and Keselowski already got hit in the back from the momentum of the push of the line. So once he gets pushed, he can't stop the momentum. So as soon as he gets pushed, Cindric is still kind of straightening up his car, and when it hits him like the right rear quarter panel, and it just turns him. And then chaos ensues. The big one happens, and then we go to overtime. But that's what I love about Talladega. You never know who's going to win. Ricky Stenhouse won. Never know who's going to win. And then on top of that, what I also like is that it's so close. 0.006 of a second. That's what it was. 0.006. Incredible. William Byron is leading the points. Christopher Bell's second. Larson is third, so they're all safe. Danny's safe. Bowman is safe. He ran a beautiful race. Blaney's safe, even though he crashed really bad. Reddick is safe. He's at 7. Chase Elliott is safe. He's 8. Now we get into the iffy parts. You got Logano 9, Suarez 10, Cindric 12th, and Chase Briscoe. Cindric 11th and Chase Briscoe 12th. Ty Gibbs is 13th. But yeah, Ricky Stenhouse snaps a 65 race losing streak. Incredible. 27 car crash. 27 cars were involved in the big one, including 8 of the 12 title contenders. Let me see here. 4 drivers will be eliminated from the playoffs next Sunday on a hybrid road course at Charlotte. So the Charlotte Roval. Joey Logano, Daniel Suarez, Austin Cindric, and Chase Briscoe are all below the cut line. Okay? So that's what it is. Logano was in the crash. Suarez was in the crash. Cindric was in the crash. Briscoe was in the crash. Okay? Right now, it looks like a very dominant run for Hendrick. Hendrick has three of the top 4 guys in the points, so including the first one. So I think that Hendrick is primed to win this championship. It would be the first championship for Hendrick since the last since Chase or Larson 2021. Since Larson 2021, because actually it might have been Chase. I think it was Chase Elliott 2022. I believe. Don't quote me on that. Because 2021 was definitely Kyle Larson. It might have been 2022 Chase Elliott, and then 2023 Ryan Blaney won last year. But yeah, exciting. We're going to the Roval, so a nice change of pace. Back to a road course type of setting where I expect Kyle Larson, William Byron, Chase Elliott, Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, those guys to show up because they're that good at road courses. But it's very exciting. Next, we got to talk about baseball. Yeah, before we get to football, we got to talk about postseason baseball. So we're going to go game by game, all right? The Mets, with a Pete Alonso go-ahead 3-run home run in the top of the 9th inning after being shut out all game, beat the Brewers in the NL wildcard to go face the Phillies in the NLDS. This game was a pitcher's duel to the end, and then Pete Alonso, in classic Pete Alonso fashion, off of Devin Williams, threw him 3 change-ups in a row instead of throwing him the fastball to speed up his bat to then slow him down. No, he threw him 3 change-ups in a row, and that third one caught the top rail, and boy, Pete did not miss it. Oppo Taco to take the lead, win the game. And then the Brewers are out. Okay, so the Brewers are out again after winning the division again. Okay. Churio is the future. They have a young team. Yelich obviously was not healthy this postseason, so that's something to look forward to. Brandon Woodruff, one of their starting pitchers, was not healthy for this season, for this postseason. I believe there's another pitcher in the rotation that was also not healthy for this postseason, so they lost Corbin Burns, but they have a good team, so I think they'll be back. And then the Mets, just cardiac Mets. Okay, so then we go to Guardians dominate the Tigers 7-0 in Game 1 of the ALDS. Listen, I chalked this up to, if you look at Detroit, they got one pitcher, Tarek Skubal. We're going to talk about him a little bit later. But everything else is platoon. Everything else is 11 arms, all hands on deck. Who can strike, who can get me outs, and who can get me moving through the game after my starter goes out. Now, starting pitching is super important in the postseason because of that, because you could get to the last 2 innings of the game and still have your whole staff because your starting pitcher is that good. Again, we'll talk about Skubal. But the Guardians just overwhelmed Reese Olson. You had a home run by Lane Thomas. Then you had another home run I think by David Fry. I think he hit a home run. They just ran away with it. They ran away with it. Naylor might have hit one. So 7-0, boom, Game 1. Okay. Phillies throw away an absolute gem in Game 1 by Zach Wheeler. A gem. I'm talking about Zach Wheeler was D-Link. The problem is that it was a 0-0 game. Okay? I mean, it was a 1-0 game, and the one run was a leadoff Kyle Schwarber home run, which he becomes he ties Harper, I believe, for most home runs by a Philly in the postseason with 16. I think he broke the record for leadoff home runs in the playoffs. I believe it was 5th. Absolute cannon shot. You know, second pitch of the game, second pitch of the bottom of the first, and we're like, whoa, and everybody's like, whoa, okay, Zach Wheeler, bring it home. Well, he did bring it home. He tossed 9 Ks out there, but they can only muster 1 run. In 7 innings that Zach Wheeler was out there, they can only muster 1 run. Okay? Jose Quintana, might have been Severino. It might have been Severino. I don't think it was Jose Quintana. Let me check real quick, guys. I think it was Luis because the 2 aces went. So I think it was Luis. Let me just double check real quick. I don't wanna be wrong about that. Who pitched? Pitchers. Come on, bro. Something so simple, man. Just who the pitchers were. Oh, yeah. So Luis Severino went 6 innings, allowed 6 hits. Wait, this is Game 2. I'm looking for Game 1. What? Yeah, it might have been Jose Quintana then. If it was Game 1. Yeah. I believe it's Jose Quintana here. No, Kodai Senga. My bad. Kodai Senga. So Kodai gives him 2 innings. Allows 1 hit, 1 run, of course, to Schwarber. Peterson, Garrett, Maton, Stanek, all don't give up runs. They all don't give a run. Stanek gives up a lowly home run in the bottom of the 9th. I believe to, let me see here. Oh, it wasn't a home run. Who got the RBI? Clemens got the RBI pinch hitting in the bottom of the ninth. So that was it. 6-2, game one. I mean, an absolute gem, a gem by Zach Wheeler, and you could only muster up one run. Unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. And just the fact that you're at home and then they hit you so hard. Like, it was 1-0. Final score was 6-2. Like, it got ugly, and it got ugly quick. It got ugly in the 8th inning. As soon as Wheeler went out, they brought in Orion Kerkering. He got hammered, I believe. Yeah, I believe it was Orion Kerkering and Strom who got hit. The guys who got hit. But you know, for your whole lineup to go one, I'm not even counting Clemens. I mean, you had Bryce Harper with a hit, Castellanos would have hit, and Clemens was a pinch hitter with a hit. That's it. Rojas 0 for 2. Brandon Marsh 0 for 4. Rio Muto 0 for 3. Bryson Stott 0 for 3. Alec Boehm 0 for 4. Trey Turner 0 for 4. Like, you can't do that. You cannot do that when your guy is giving you 7 innings of one-hit baseball and 9 Ks with only 4 walks. You cannot do that. He threw 111 pitches and gave you 68 strikes. You cannot like allow him to do that, man. Hoffman got hit. Strom got hit. And then Banks got hit. Kerkering did okay. So that was game one. 6-2. You throw away a gem by Zach Wheeler. You know? That's not good. So let's go to the next game. Yankees win game one of the ALDS in a back and forth affair that finishes 5-6. But it was 1 inning, 1 run by one team, take the lead. 1 inning in the other run, take the lead. 1 inning in the next one, take the lead. 1 run in the next inning, 1 run in the next, until you got to the end, and the Yankees were able to get their lead, I believe, bottom of the 8th, because it was not a walk-off. So I mean, 5 is a back and forth affair. 5 lead changes, the most lead changes in a playoff game, I believe, ever, if not tied with it. Judge and Witt went a combined 0 for 10 with 4 strikeouts. So the superstar struggled. Soto, I consider Soto a superstar, but I know he's not going to struggle at the plate because of his plate discipline. So I don't expect him to struggle. Even like if he gets a walk, like that's not struggling to me. That's just he wanted to take a walk. That's just his eyes. But for Witt and Judge to go 0 for 10 and you still get 5-6, a lot of people around them, your Vinny Pasquantinos, Michael Garcias, Gleyber Torres, which is the one I believe that put him on top finally. Verdugo put him ahead with a single. And then an acrobatic catch as well to save the game in the next inning. But, let's look at pitching. Michael Walker gave him 4 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned. Okay, 3 Ks, 1 home run allowed. And then you go to New York. New York put out Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole gave him 5 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned, 4 Ks, allowed a home run. Okay? So, overall, the starters weren't that good. Okay? The starters weren't that good. Gleyber Torres went 1 for 3. Why did you tell me like this? Why can't you just tell? Maybe in the game cast, it'll tell me. Here we go. So, Massey went 2 for 5. Bobby Witt went 0 for 5. Vinny went 0 for 5. Perez went 1 for 4. Yuli went one for 2. Melendez hit a home run and went 2 for 4. Tommy Pham went 1 for 3. Yeah, Kyle Isbell, he went 0 for 2. Hampson came in, he was 1 for 1 as a pinch hitter, and then Michael Garcia went 1 for 4. Like, you're not hitting. You're not. Like, even against the bullpen. Same thing with the Yankees. Glaber got a home run. He went 1 for 3. Soto went 3 for 5. Judge 0 for 4. Austin Wells 1 for 3. Stanton 0 for 4. Chisholm 1 for 4. Volpe 0 for 3. Oswaldo 1 for 4. And Verdugo 2 for 3 with the RBI. Okay? Austin Wells had 2 RBI. Glaber had 2 RBI. And Volpe had an RBI along with Verdugo, which was the game winner. Back and forth affair, as I expected this series. But then we have to get to the aces. So what happens when the aces come? Before we get to that, we're going to go to Dodgers-Padres game 1. Dodgers win an intense game 1. Back and forth with homers, because it was a back and forth with homers. Both Machado and Ohtani homer, both of them. Ohtani on his second at bat just crushes a 94 mile per hour fastball at the top of the zone. Don't know what who was the pitcher. Oh man, it might have been Musgrove. Who was the pitcher? I'll tell you guys right now. Pitcher was Dylan Cease. So Dylan gives them three and a quarter and 3 1/3, 6 hits, 5 earned runs, and 5 Ks. Okay, 5 earned runs in 3 1/3. Okay, so pitching was bad. Starting pitching was bad there, right? On the Dodgers side, they went with Yoshinobu Yamamoto. He only lasted 3 innings and also with 5 earned and 1 K. He just couldn't find. He didn't use the fastball enough. His fastball was working. He wanted to keep using like the split and and they just hit him. They hit him. They hit him on his soft stuff. So for the hitters, we had Ohtani with a 3-run bomb. At 372 feet. It looked further than what it was when he hit it because it's an Ohtani bomb. But in the first, Machado hit a 2-run bomb with Tatis on base. He had 398. Effortless swing. I mean, it is effortless what he does. And then it was a double by Bogarts in the third to make it 5-3. Then Edman scored on a Morton wild pitch, and it was 5-4. Then Teoscar Hernandez singled to right. Betts scores. Ohtani scores. Freeman to third. That made it 6-5. And then Edman grounded into a double play shortstop, and then Will Smith scored to make it 7-5, and that was your final score. I thought it would be a lot more home run centric because of Tatis, because of Ohtani, because of Betts, because, but the pitching eventually, I know that these bullpens are not going to stay like this forever. I think they're going to get touched up. These hitters are too good to not, catch up. So unless like Kate Smith, which is insane, but we'll talk about that when we get to the Cleveland Guardians series with Tigers. Yeah, but, game 1, LA wins, right? At home. Ohtani hits his first postseason bomb. Great. Then we go to game 2, Mets-Phillies. Phillies win 6-7 on a walk-off Nick Castellanos single. Okay? Boy, this game was... If you sweated this game out. This game was sweaty. Pitching wise, it was Luis Severino. He gave him 6 innings, 6 hits, 3 earned, 7 Ks. Pretty good outing. And then for the Phillies, Christopher Sanchez gave him 5 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned, 5 Ks. That's solid. You know? Do I wish that maybe he wouldn't allowed 2 earned runs? Yeah, but keeping this lineup, and it's hot, with Vientos and Lindor and Winker, Nimmo, Alvarez, a little tough to keep him in check. So good job. Vientos homered right off the bat, third inning, 2 run, so it was 2-0. In the 6th, Pete homered, Alonso, he homered 3-0. Harper homered 431 feet in the 6th, just an absolute cannon shot. Trey Turner scored. In the 6th, Castellanos homered, another cannon shot, 425 feet to left center. Nimmo homered in the 7th to make it 4-3. And then Stott tripled in the bottom of the 8th. Harper scored, Castellanos scored, made it 5-4. Vientos tied it up, 392, 2-run homer, 6-6, and then Castellanos singled to left. Turner scored in the bottom of the 9th to win it. Exciting game, nonstop action. The Phillies needed to win this game. You don't want to lose both games at home, then going to Citi Field 2-0 in a best of 5. You just need to lose one at that point. So you don't want to do that. So every single series is tied. We're going to get to that. Every single series is tied, which is the best for us. We get more baseball, no sweeps. We go to Padres-Dodgers game 2, an absolute massacre. A massacre. Tatis had his way, 10-2. It was a battle between Yu Darvish, who gave him 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned, 3 Ks. Masterful performance, only 2 walks. Even without the strikeouts, 3 strikeouts, gave him 7 innings, only 3 hits. That's a lot of ground ball. That's a lot of pop-ups. And then their lineup went ham. Luis went 1 for 5, but Tatis went 3 for 4 with 2 home runs and 3 RBIs. Profar went 2 for 4. Machado went 1 for 5. Merrill went 3 for 5 and a home run, his first postseason home run, and 3 RBIs. Xander went 1 for 4 with an RBI and a home run. You had David Peralta hit a home run. He had 2 RBI, 1 for 2. And Higashioka hit another home run, his 3rd home run of the postseason, and got an RBI. So they went ham. They went absolutely bonkers on Jack Flaherty. He went 5 and a 1/3, 5 hits, 4 earned, 2 Ks. Just didn't have his best stuff. He couldn't locate the soft stuff, the slider. He couldn't locate. The fastball was working, but you need a secondary pitch to go to, and it wasn't landing. The bullpen gave up another poof. Enriquez gave up 3 runs in 1 inning. Michael Grove in a third of an inning gave up a run. Ryan Brazier, he gave up 2 runs in 2/3 of an inning. Hudson, 2/3 of an inning, clean. And then Banda had a K and 1 hit. But, Shohei, 0 for 4. Betts, 0 for 4. Now, the Betts 0 for 4 should have been at least a 1 for 4 home run, but Jerickson Profar stole that from him. Nasty, nasty steal. He steals it from the crowd. He doesn't say nothing. He's jumping up and down, hyping up the crowd, like saying, ha, 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 I got it. And then he finally shows it. Real pump-up move by Jerickson Profar. Got shit thrown at him throughout the rest of the game. People had to be escorted out. There was a stoppage, but, really good play from Jerickson Profar. There was some great defense. Tatis made a catch. Merrill made a catch. You had... who's the outfielder? Oh, man. Who was out there? Was this the game with the catches? No. This is 10-2. This is just an absolute massacre by the Padres. This is what they can do when they get good pitching and they find a weakness in the pitching staff. Jack Flaherty was just not on. And, bro, it started from early. Top first, Tatis homers, 387, 1-0. Top second, Peralta homers, 414, Merrill scores. Luck sacrifice fly, it makes it 3-1. Merrill singles to left, Tatis scores, 4-1. Merrill homered to left center, 383, 6-1. Bogarts homers, same inning. This is all the top of the eighth. Merrill homered, Bogarts homered, all the top of the eighth, 7-1. Higashioka homers in the top of the ninth, 8-1. And Tatis homers in the top of the ninth, 401, 10-1. Muncy homered, 402 feet, so a cannon shot in the bottom of the ninth to make it 10-2, But this is just, to me, it's not that's not the Dodgers. Offensively, that's not the Dodgers. And today they face Michael King. So something got to give. Because Michael King is coming off a 12 strikeout game. If we go to here we go. We go to today or yesterday. Tigers Guardians. An absolute Cy Young gem from Tarik Skubal. Another one. Ends in a top of the ninth. Kerry Carpenter 3-run home run. Cannon shot of Emmanuel Clase. Threw him 3 sliders in a row. That third slider was in the middle of the plate, lower of the zone, that hot zone, and boy, it got pounded out of here. Hardest ball ever hit off Class A at 111 miles an hour. Hardest ball that Kerry Carpenter has hit in his career at 111 miles an hour. This was a pitcher's duel to the teeth. Matthew Boyd pitched great for the Guardians. Skubal went 7 innings, 3 hits, no walks, no earned runs, 8 strikeouts. Absolutely dominant. Top of the rail fastball, bottom of the rail fastballs, 96, 98, 99. The changeup was absolutely disgusting. 88, 89, just dropping off the table. Got Jose Ramirez looking stupid. And then Will Vest and Bro Brisky, 8th and 9th inning, shut it down. But an absolute gem from Tarik Skubal. And what do you do in that time? You reward your pitcher with a win. Matthew Boyd, like I said, he went 4 2/3. He allowed 4 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. Went nice. Then Cade Smith came and dominated an inning and 2/3. With 2 strikeouts. Herron dominated. He went 2/3, 0 earned. Hunter Gaddis, 2/3, 1 hit, 0 earned. And then Class A. Class A allows 4 hits in an inning. Gave him an inning because he didn't make it to the 3rd out of the top of the ninth. They put Morgan in for that last out. But from the 3rd out of the 8th inning, and then the 2 outs of the 9th inning, he gave up three runs to one dude, Kerry Carpenter, and he gave up 4 hits. The guy was supposed to be unhittable. I think he got a little bit too slider happy. He should have stuck with the cutter. They weren't catching up to it. That 100-mile-per-hour cutter is insane, and he paints it. So, I don't know why he got slider happy, but he got slider happy, threw one, spun one right. He missed one. Kerry was on it, but he was late. So he fouled it off. The second one, he was not late. He was just waiting for it. He sat slider, sat soft, and he demolished it. 3-0, Detroit Tigers going back to Detroit for the first time, I think, since Justin Verlander was there. 2013, something like that. And I feel good about the Tigers, man. Going home. Now, their pitching, this is the thing. Their pitching is the problem. Because you got Tarik Skubal, but you don't trust anybody else to give you innings. You trust your bullpen, your whole 11 arms, that you use them in any leverage situation, whoever it is, based on matchup, which AJ Hinch is a master at that. But you don't have another. You don't have like a Royals, or we're going to talk about like a Royals, like Cole Reagans, Seth Lugo, Michael Walker. You don't have a legit 3 that you could go to. You have a 1 that can essentially guarantee you a win. If he's on, which usually, I mean, the last 10 games he's been dominant, under a 2 ERA, it's like a 1.7 or something like that. But then you have to piece it together the other games. And against a team like the Guardians, who are so patient at the plate, don't really chase outside, especially with people like Naylor and Ramirez, Fry, Quan, Thomas. Like, you have some John Kenzie. You have some legit concerns. Just throwing arms at him, But you got to do it. I still think the Cleveland Guardians have the advantage, but, and there's a big but, the Tigers are just that gritty of a team that they could just scrunch out hits. For the next game, I don't know who's going for, let's see, tomorrow, who's going for the Guardians. Undecided for the Tigers. We got Alex Cobb, first postseason game in a long time. So Alex Cobb coming off an injury, hasn't pitched in like 2 months. We'll see how that goes. Tigers are undecided. They'll probably start. They can't start Reese Olson. They did it two games ago. I don't know who they'll start. Maybe Cater Montero. I don't know who. But that's going to be very interesting. And then Royals-Yankees, game 2. Royals win 4-2. Another gem from another great starting pitcher. Cole Reagans gave him 4 innings. So not a gem, but he held it together. 1 earned run, 5 Ks, 4 base on balls, which is what got him in trouble. And then Serpa, lockdown. Schreiber, lockdown. Bubic, lockdown. And then Lucas Erceg came in for the 9th. He allowed 2 hits, 1 earned run. That was a home run to Jazz Chisholm. But other than that, the pitching staff did great. Michael Garcia went 4 for 5 and an RBI. Bobby Witt went 0 for 5. He keeps struggling. Vinny went 0 for 5. Salvador Perez went 1 for 4. The 1 was a home run that made it 1-0. Michael Massey, 1 for 2. Tommy Pham, 1 for 4 with an RBI. 0 for 4 for 100. 0 for 2 for Ronnie Renfro. Melendez 0 for 2. Hampson 2 for 2 and an RBI. And then Kyle Isbell 1 for 2. Stanton reached on an infield single to the shortstop. That made it 1-0 in the bottom of the 3rd. Torres scores. Perez homers in the top of the 4th. 402 feet. Just crushed it off of Rodon. Pham singled to center in the top of the 4th as well. That was 2-1. Hampson singles to left. That made it 3-1. And this is all top of the 4th. And then Garcia singled to left, made it 4-1. It stood 4-1 all the way to the bottom of the 9th, and then Jazz hit a 375-foot homer in the 9th to make it 4-2. For the Yankees, this is the Rodon story, guys. He started being dominant the first 2 innings, but he only went 3 2/3, 7 hits, 4 earned, 7 Ks, so an ERA of 9.82. Not good. The rest of the team did pretty well. They held them all in check. Hamilton, Cousins, Hill, Holmes, Canley, Meza, and Weaver. They all didn't allow no runs. It was just Rodon with those 4, but those 4 were the thing. And Glaber went 0 for 3. Soto went 0 for 3. Judge went 1 for 3, but no RBI. Wells went 1 for 4. Stanton went 1 for 4 with an RBI. Jazz went 1 for 4, the home run. Volpe went 1 for 3. Verdugo went 1 for 4. And Birdie went 1 for 4. Not a lot of hitting. And I believe they're facing Seth Lugo next. So let me see right here. Clark Schmidt, Seth Lugo. Yeah, so another good pitching matchup tomorrow. As for right now, what's happening right now, the Phillies are losing against the Mets at in Citi Field 4-0. It's the middle of the 7th. So it's about to be the bottom of the 7th. Kind of expected. Home team. Hometown cooking. They had who they had pitching. Manaea still pitching. He's he's done 7 innings. He pitched 7 innings, 2 hits, 0 earned runs, 6 Ks. Really nice. Only 2 walks, 1.5 ERA. It's 0 for 3 for Lindor. Vientos is 1 for 3. Nimmo's 0 for 2. Alonso 1 for 2, but it's a home run, a solo. Iglesias is 1 for 3. Winker's 1 for 3. That's a home run, another solo. Marte has 2 RBI. Kind of expected. Hometown cooking, the first game at Citi Field. So, I kind of expected the Mets to be riled up. But for Manaea to give him that type of performance, it's really nice. Their lineup has done well. Vientos hit well. You have Pete with a home run. You have Jesse Winker with a home run. Vientos been hitting well for the series. Bottom of the 9th right now, 2 outs. Men on first and second. It looks like the Mets are gonna win that one. And then Padres Dodgers. I think the Padres win tonight. I don't want them to. I want them to go to the World Series, but I think the Padres with Michael King against Walker Buehler. The bats are too hot. Michael King is coming off a 12 strikeout gem against the Atlanta Braves, so I think that it's going to be tough for the Dodgers to muster enough runs to keep up with the Padres if Walker Buehler's not on. If he's on, then it's going to be a pitching duel, and it's going to probably end 2-1. But I think right now the Padres are 2 on. Fernando's 2 on. Fernando hitting against the Dodgers is too good. So, hopefully the Dodgers win, though. All right. Now let's go to NCAA football. Because, boy, there were some upsets. Upset City. Penn State didn't get upset. 27-11 against 27-11 against UCLA. Allard did well. Number 9 upset. Missouri at Texas A&M in College Station destroyed 41-10. I watched this game. It was not pretty for Missouri. Texas A&M did whatever they wanted. Whitman came back into the lineup, and boy, was it a wake up call for that Texas A&M. And that Texas A&M defense played well too. But yeah, man, Texas A&M is a much better team than the 25th team in the country. Or Missouri was that bad. I don't know. They couldn't get Burden going. Texas A&M has some good corners. A guy named called the Blanket, a transfer. But 41-10, that's a statement against the number 19 in the country. SMU makes a statement against Louisville, number 22 in the country, 34-27. Back and forth affair. Jennings versus Ball. Let me just say his name right. I know it's with a B. Tyler Shaw. But this kid Jennings for the SMU, man, that guy's a quarterback. They're 5-1. He's athletic. He can throw. They have an explosive offense. So Louisville got caught at home, 34-27. They get run off. Ohio State don't got to worry about them. 35-7 against Iowa. That defense didn't do nothing to them. In the first half, they did a little bit of stopping them because they only scored 7 in the first half. But right away, 3 straight, 21 railed off in the third quarter. Another 7 added in the fourth. Jeremiah Smith caught another one-handed touchdown. They look like they're rolling. Georgia Wins against Auburn 31-13. Pretty easy win there. Ole Miss beats South Carolina 27-3, so they bounce back. Indiana beats Northwestern 41-24. They remain undefeated with Kurt Signetti. Bama loses. Number 1 Bama loses at Vandy 40-35. This was not Bama didn't come to play. Vandy got lucky. No, this was a back and forth just brawl that ended with Vandy winning 45-35, the fans storming the field, taking the goalpost and dropping it in the river after taking it through all of downtown Nashville. What I have to say about this is it's incredible. This is why we love college football. This is why it's, any given Saturday, any given Sunday. Doesn't matter how high you are. Doesn't matter what rank you are. If you go into another team's building and they just got it that day and it looks like they're just playing good football, sometimes you can get got. And that's what happens. Bama got as a number 1 against an unranked, what was at the time a 2-2 Vandy team. Pick 6. First of all, Cedric Alexander ran off a 7-yard touchdown in for Vandy. Then an interception return off a tip that made it 13-0. They missed the extra point. Then Jam Miller 8-yard run, 7-13, end of the first quarter. Second quarter, Vandy drives down again, 7-20. Field goal, 23-7. Second quarter against Bama. And then Jam Miller again runs it in, 14-23 at halftime. You're like, Alabama's going to wake up. That's what I told my dad. Alabama's going to wake up. It was surprising to see them losing, but Alabama's going to wake up. Jalen Milroe runs in for a 14-yard, 21-23, and that's as close as they got. 2:53 left in the third quarter. Junior Sherrill passed from Diego Pavia, which played his ass off, the quarterback for Vandy. Made it 30-21. Ryan Williams catches another nasty pass over the top, lands on his feet, keeps going. Just the guy is absolutely insane. And then that's 30-28, back to a 2-point deficit. Field goal with 10:35 left, 33-28. And then Cameron Johnson catches a 6-yard pass from Pavia, 40-28. And Ryan Williams runs it in from 2 yards with 2 minutes and 46 seconds to make it 40-35. And that's the end of the game. Pavia runs it to get the first down. And that is it. That's all she wrote. First time ever Vandy beats a number 1, I believe, in their program history. Yeah, I think it says it here. Hold up. Ran down the goalpost. Set 2 touchdowns. Pavia, Milroe. Had lost all 60. This is Vandy. Had lost all 60 games against AP top 5 teams, according to Sport Radar. The Commodores hadn't beaten Alabama on the field in 40 years. Bama, what? 40 years? My God. That's a lot of losing. But they snapped a 23-game skid, making big play after big play, giving Coach Clark Leah his alma mater's biggest win ever. Oh, that's nice. The coach went to Vandy. Largest lead ever that they had over a number 1, 16 points in the first half. Just last week, it moved from, Bama got to number 1. So this past week, after beating number 2 Georgia, and the board said we're going to find out really how much we care about each other and what it looks like moving forward. We've been tested in different ways, really a lot. a lot of the games of a lot of games here this season, and this is a different type of test now that in our response. This is a different type of test now in our response. Yeah. Inexcusable. To Vandy, after Nick Saban 3 weeks ago says there's one place that you can go as an SEC team and have more fans than their actual than the actual campus, and that's Vandy. Like, it's kind of blew up in their face. I feel like it's good. It adds more drama to the college football playoff because, you know, there's only Ohio State's undefeated. Texas is undefeated. Indiana's undefeated. Boise is not undefeated. They're 4-1. Ashton Genty went off again. And UM's undefeated. I think that's the only undefeated teams left, I believe. Oh no, you got Penn State. He's 5-0 as well. But that's it. Everybody else has 1 loss, 2 losses. Arkansas beats number 4 Tennessee, another shocker. Clemson beats Florida State 29-13, excuse me. So they look like they might be an at-large pick from the ACC if they keep going like that. UM is still, at the top of that. Indiana beats Northwestern, like I said. Boise State beats Utah State 62-30. Ashton Genty in the first half ran for 186 yards and 3 touchdowns in 13 first half carries. This guy's an absolute monster. This guy's doing stuff that only Barry Sanders did. And it's absolutely incredible that this kid in the NFL is going to be nasty, I think, if he gets good blocking. But even if he doesn't, he breaks so many tackles. He has so much contact balance, and he's a absolute sprinter. Like, this guy sprints. He got speed for real. So I'm excited for him. Boise's playing well. They're 21. And then Tennessee and Nico go into a hostile environment in Arkansas and lose 19-14. The offense didn't look the same. Arkansas dominated defensively, and they made just enough plays. Michigan goes down against Washington. I said that this might be a possibility because of Orgy. They put in Ty Warren, the guy that was supposed to, I believe his name is Ty Warren. Let me see. Jack Tuttle. That was supposed to be their starter coming out of training camp, but he got hurt. So he went in, but he wasn't that effective either. They lost 27-20 to 17 for their second loss of the season. Washington's 4-2. They get revenge from the national championship loss. And number 10 goes down as well. And then USC loses to Minnesota in Minnesota 24-17. And that rounds out the top 4 programs. The number 1, number 4, number 22, number 11, and number 10. They all lose in one weekend. Hadn't happened in a long time. Iowa State beats Baylor 43-21. And then Miami in an absolute thriller. I saw this game. Cam Ward finally woke up in the second half. This thing was getting bad. It was 7-0 Miami. Then it was 7-7. Then it was 7-14 13:43 second quarter. 10-14. Then 8 minutes in the second quarter, 21-10. Third quarter starts, 28-10. 8:06 in the third quarter, 35-10. And I'm like, oh, are we gonna have another one go down? Like, is UM about to sell over here in Berkeley? It gets to 35-10. Damian Martinez runs it in with 3 minutes and 2 seconds in the third, and it's 18-35. And you're like, okay, 18-35. maybe you could do something. But then they score a field goal, so it's 38-18, 14-13 left in the fourth. Then UM proceeds to go. The defense plays well, and then UM goes Isaiah Horton, 18-yard touchdown from Cam Ward, 38-25. Cam Ward, 24-yard run, 38-32. They stop him. They get the ball back, and Elijah Arroyo, with 26 seconds left, catches a 5-yard pass from Cam Ward, 39-38, and an absolute stunner to keep their undefeated season alive. Go to 6-0, and possibly break into the top 5 this week. I know Penn State possibly will as well. I think the top 5 should be Texas, Ohio State, Penn State, UM. And then you start with Georgia or Bama, one of those after. But I think the undefeated teams should be up there just because they're undefeated, in my opinion. So that was college. Oh, and Oregon beats Michigan State 31-10. So Oregon then. Oregon was 6th. Okay, so maybe it goes Texas, Ohio State, Oregon, UM, Penn State, or Penn State, UM. Something like that. That's what I expected to come out as. And then UNLV loses to Syracuse 44-41, another crazy game. All right, let's go to the NFL. Got some stuff to talk about. Falcons beat the Buccaneers in another game-winning drive. Cousins throws for 509 yards. A career high. Let me get to my notes from that game right here. Falcons win on a walk-off Kadero Hodge 41-yard touchdown in overtime after a broken tackle. Tampa Bay defense fails to create a pass rush in the fourth quarter in OT. Absolutely, fails. Gets sacks in the first half. Can't get sacks in the second half. And boy, did it cost them, because once Kirk got into a rhythm, it was lights out. Drake London, 12 catches, 159. Kirk Cousins with a career night of 509 yards passing. Tampa Bay let a win slip away after leading all second half until tying it with 0 seconds on the clock from Young Hoku after a brilliant, I want to say, 30-second drive from Kirk Cousins. I mean, it was insane. Let's get to the stats. The ball scores read like this: Baker 19 for 24, 180 for 3 touchdowns, no picks. So he played pretty well. He did take a sack, 7 yards. He had a QBR of 82.3, a rating of 137.5. So pretty good. Rashad White ran for 10 carries for 72 yards and a long of 56. So there was really not a lot of running going on. Bucky went for 9 for 44. Godwin caught 5 for 64 on 6 targets. Mike went 5 for 62 and 2 touchdowns on 7 targets. K. Dotton went 3 for 44. Bucky Irvin went 2 for 12. Bucky Irvin lost a fumble. Mike Evans recovered a fumble. Godwin also lost a fumble, but I might think Mike Evans was the ones that recovered it. Defense-wise, they got 4 sacks. 1 for Logan Hall. 2 from Logan Hall. 1 from Vita Vea. And 1 from Anthony Nelson. And they got a Levante David pick. They played well. They played to win. And they should have won this game. But they could not create a pass rush at the end. And just Kirk Cousins just started really, really dealing. Kirk was working. He went 42 for 58, 509 yards, 8.8 yards an attempt or a completion. 4 touchdowns, 1 pick, 4 sacks for 32 yards. He had a QBR of 79.9, a rating of 114.8. Bijan went 12 for 61. Didn't really run that much. They ran the ball 18 times the whole game, passed the ball 58 times. There was no balance. 12 for 61, 6 for 12 for Algier. And even with the 12 for 61 for Bijan, he had a long of 28. So the rest was, maybe like 40-something yards in the other 11 carries. Drake London went 12 for 154, career high. An average of 12.8, a reception, a touchdown, a long of 31 on 13 targets. That's good. Darnell Mooney seems to be the other guy. He went 9 receptions, 105 yards, 11.7 a reception, 2 touchdowns, a long of 24, and 16 targets. I guess these are the 2 guys that Kirk really wants to focus in on. Kyle Pitts went 7 for 88, so he did use him. No touchdowns on 8 targets, so he did pass the ball to him. Kadero Hodge had 2 targets. He caught them both, caught the 45-yarder in overtime to win. Ray McCloud went 6 for 66 on 9 targets, so he looked for him a lot. Bijan went 3 for 16 on 3 targets, and Algier went 3 for 13 on 3 targets. Ray McCloud fumbled. Caden Ellis recovered a fumble on defense. Ray just fumbled and recovered it again. And then they got 1 sack out of David Onyemata, no picks. But Kirk Cousins took it over. Kirk Cousins, fourth quarter, just put the team on his back. And essentially, you had so in the fourth, you had a TD by Darnell Mooney, 27-27. Chase McLaughlin kicks a field goal. This is with 10:23 left, 30-27. And it wasn't until the no seconds on the clock for Yohoku to tie it up. And then in overtime, it literally took 4 plays, and Kadero Hodge hits a 45-yarder. He breaks the tackle after the defender tries to jump the route and intercept it. He jumps out of the tackle and then takes off for the touchdown and walks it off. 3-2 Falcons, 3-2 Tampa Bay. Yeah, that division is up for grabs for those 2 teams. Jets Vikings, Sunday morning. Vikings 23, Jets 17. I said the Vikings were going to win. They stay at 5-0. Aaron Rodgers throws for 54 times. Let me repeat that. Aaron Rodgers at 40 years old throws the ball 54 times, goes 29 for 54, 244, so 4.5 yards an attempt. 2 touchdowns, 3 picks, 3 sacks for 26 yards, a QBR of 42.7, a rating of 54.9. Breece Hall got 9 carries for 23 yards. 9 carries for Breece Hall. That's embarrassing. That's it. That as a play caller, if you throw 54 times with a 40-year-old quarterback, and you didn't need to. This was 17-23. It's not like you were getting blown out. Breece Hall and the whole team in whole got 14 carries. You threw the ball 54 times. Nathaniel Hackett, you were going to get fired. You still should get fired. You still should get fired. That is egregious to do that to Aaron Rodgers. And I know he's your buddy and everything like that, but that is egregious. Braden Allen, 5 carries. Breece Hall, the one of the top 3 backs in the league, and you throw and you give him the ball 9 times. Awful. Garrett Wilson goes 13 catches for 101. Good. And a touchdown on 22 targets. Yeah, you're the number 1. That's the type of target share I expect for you to get the rest of the season. Tyler Conklin, 6 for 55 on 9 targets. Allen Lazard, 4 for 34 on 10 targets and a touchdown. Mike Williams, 2 for 25. He still needs to get into the offense. And then Breece Hall, you throw him 4 passes. So you run him 9 and you throw him 4. So yes, 13 touches. One of the best players in the league, you throw him 13 touches. That's bad, man. Aaron fumbled. He recovered it. Quincy Williams recovered a fumble. Their defense played well. They had 4 sacks. Excuse me. They had 4 sacks coming from Will McDonald, Michael Clemens, Isaiah Oliver, and Leonard Taylor III. Brandon Echols got an interception. But it didn't matter. You guys scored 17 points. 17. And it went field goal, 3-0 Vikings. Van Ginkel. So in third down and in crucial situations for short yardage, Aaron Rodgers has always gone to triple slants. It's one of his favorite plays, especially with Devontae Adams. When he had Greg Jennings, he used to run it, and Jordy Nelson. Triple slants. Randall Cobb, triple slants. B-Flow obviously knew this, Brendan Flores. He practiced with Van Ginkel this whole week. He had picked off the scout team like a couple times. And in the game, the time that they do it, Van Ginkel drops. He fakes like he simulates a pressure. He drops, gets into the passing lane of that triple slant, taps the ball to himself, catches it, takes it 63 yards to the house. 10-0. CJ Ham goes in 17-0. So at halftime, Alan Lazard, with 36 seconds left, catches a 14-yard pass from Aaron. 17-7 halftime. 17-10, 50 seconds left in the third quarter. So your defense holds them to 17, and you get closer. It's a 7-point game, so you can still run the ball. 12:07, you get 20-10. Garrett Wilson catches a 1-yard pass, set 20-17. With 6:04 left, you can still run the ball. And then a final field goal at the end with 3 minutes and 7 seconds. And then he couldn't do nothing at the end. But to me, it's egregious. Shout out to the Vikings. The Vikings, the box score wasn't impressive, but it was good enough. 14 for 31, 179 for Darnold. He had to come out one play. Nick Mullins threw a dot to, I believe, it might have been Johnny Munt, the tight end that he threw the dot to in his only play for 24 yards. But Sam goes 14 for 31, 179. So, pedestrian. No touchdowns, a pick. 4 sacks for 32 yards, 19.6 QBR, a 50.3 rating. So not good at all. Like not otherworldly, not nothing. This is how good B-Flow's defense is. Todd Chandler runs for 14 carries for 30 yards. Aaron Jones runs 7. He got hurt. A hip or something like that. I think he's day to day. I'll tell you guys right now. Hold up. Hip continues to be evaluated. Is considered week to week. That's from KOC. So they run the ball 30 times. They pass the ball 31. So there is balance, but there was no success whatsoever. 0 success. Okay? And then, so the receiving goes 6 for 92 on 14 targets for Justin Jefferson. Along of 27, no touchdown. Jordan Addison goes 3 for 36 on 8 targets. The Jordan Addison targets were just kind of off. He was open sometimes, but it was just kind of off. Sam, needs to get more in touch with him as the season progresses. Johnny Munt, the tight end, because no Hawkinson, 2 for 31 on 2 targets. Aaron Jones 1 for 24 on 1 target. Darnold fumbled, he lost it. Justin Jefferson fumbled, but he didn't lose it. Their defense got 3 sacks. Harrison Smith got a sack. Ivan Pace Jr. got a sack. And Harrison Phillips got a sack. They got 3 picks. Andrew Van Ginkel took it to the house. Stephon Gilmore picked a beautiful ball off off of Aaron, and then Cameron Bynum also picked him off. The Jets are a bad football team. They're 2-3 now. 2-3. You're gonna see a lot of these teams are gonna be 2-3, and to fire your coach when he's the head of your defense, even though Aldrich is the defensive coordinator, but like it's his defense that he built. I don't think it's fair, but like Solid, you kind of had it coming with the Zach Wilson years and the Sam Darnold, and like you kind of had it coming, man. I mean, it's not the worst it can be, but at that point, losing that way, coming back on the long ride to London, Woody was not happy, and it was his decision. Ravens Bengals in an absolute classic, 41-38. Bengals defense is doo-doo caca. They can't stop a cold. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins played their ass off, including Chase Brown as well. This went back and forth. Derrick Henry, touchdown, 7-0. T. Higgins, 7-7. Rashad Bateman, 14-7. Sam Hubbard, safety, 14-9. Jamar Chase, 41-yard touchdown, really, really open with 9 seconds left in the half. So that's 17-14. Third quarter, 14-24, T. Higgins. Isaiah Likely catches his first touchdown, 21-24. Going into the fourth quarter, Chase Brown, 21-31. It's a 10-point game. Charlie Kolar catches a touchdown from Lamar, 31-28. Jamar Chase catches a 70-yarder, but it wasn't a bomb variety. It was like a 2-yard pass, and he shook and then split the gap, and he was gone. Nobody gonna catch him. He's 4.3 speed. One of the top 3 receiver in the league. Isaiah Likely catches an insane. I mean, the play of the year. Sam Hubbard comes off the edge, off Lamar Jackson's blind side. Lamar Jackson drops the ball, so he drops the snap. He's trying to gather it, he's trying to get it. He gets it. Sam Hubbard's coming off the edge. He stiff arms him twice, drops him as he's running out of bounds, chucks it to the middle of the end zone, and Isaiah Likely just comes out of nowhere, jumps and catches it. Amazing play, makes it 35-38, and then Justin Tucker ties it with a 56-yard field goal with 1:35 left. And then Justin Tucker, after the very next play in overtime. So they get to overtime. Lamar's driving. He fumbles. Bengals recover. Bengals don't really move the ball. I don't know why. I guess they were confident that Evan McPherson could hit the 51-yarder. But the operation goes wrong. Fumbled snap. It doesn't get down on time. McPherson misses it. Back to the Ravens. Very next play, Derrick Henry, like a 60-yarder. I'll tell you guys right now. A 51-yarder. Took it all the way to the 5, and Justin Tucker, the GOAT, kicks the field goal, and they win. 1-4 Bengals at home, 3-2 Ravens. Lamar went 26 for 42, 348, 4 touchdowns, no picks. MVP Lamar. 1 sack for 3 yards, 59.4 QBR, 119.9 rating. Derrick Henry with 15 for 92. The 51-yarder was long. He was kind of bottled up for the most part, and a touchdown. Lamar went 12 for 55 on the ground and a long of 18. Justice Hill went 5 for 17. Zay Flowers ran for 9 yards. And then Zay went for 7 catches, 111. He's the number one. That's what I expect. 12 targets, good. A long of 26, 15.9 yards of reception. 111 yards. That's what I want to see from Zay Flowers. Charlie Kolar, the tight end, he went 3 for 64 on 4 targets. Rashad Bateman went 4 for 58 and a touchdown. Kolar caught a touchdown on Rashad on 8 targets. Mark Andrews went 4 for 55 on 5 targets. Isaiah Likely went 3 for 13 on 3 targets and caught 2 touchdowns. Lamar Jackson fumbled twice, recovered one. The one that that he threw the touchdown on, and then the one in overtime, which he lost. The defense played great, 3 sacks. You had Kyle Hamilton with a sack, Amada Bike with a sack, and Tavius Robinson with a sack. 5 tackles for loss. Marlon Humphrey had an interception, a sick one. At the end of late in the fourth quarter, he was going to Jamar Chase. He kind of undercut it. Jamar Chase didn't really fight for the spot, and he undercut it. And then for the Bengals, I mean, Joe Burrow went 30 for 39, really good, 392, 5 touchdowns, 1 pick, 3 sacks, for 21 yards, 77.3 QBR, 137 rating. Chase Brown went 12 for 46. Zach Moss went 9 for 24. Jamar Chase, 10 catches, 193, 19.3 a reception, 2 touchdowns, a long of 70 on 12 targets. That's what I like to see. T. Higgins, 9 for 83, 9.2 yards a reception, 2 touchdowns, a long of 17 on 14 targets. That's what I love to see. Yosivas caught 1 for 39. Gesicki got 2 for 31. Chase Brown caught a touchdown, 3 for 8 on 3 targets. Jermaine Pratt recovered a fumble. Their defense is the problem. They can't create pressure, and they can't cover on the back end. Once Awuzie got out of here, Jesse Bates got out of there. It was gonna be tough. I thought Dax Hill was gonna be a good player. He is, but he's just by himself over there. The only sack came from Sam Hubbard. They didn't get no interceptions. They just allowed too much. They got everything they wanted from their offense. Everything they wanted. But at the end of the day, they just couldn't. They could not stop the Ravens. And, rightfully so. Not a lot of people are going to stop the Ravens. Jaguars, Colts, I told you that the Jaguars were going to pick themselves off the mat against the Colts and Joey Flacco. They do, 37-34. The Colts try to make a super comeback at the end of the game, scoring 24 in the fourth, come up short. You got Michael Pittman, 7-0 first quarter. Then in the second quarter, 7-3. Then Brian Thomas catches an 85-yard bomb on a double move, on a slant and go. 7-10. Matt Gay makes it 10-10. And then Cam Little hits a 30-yard field goal to make it 13-10 at the half. Tank Bigsby, which ran really, really well. He 3-yard fumble makes it 20-10. And a fumble in the end zone. Mo Ali Cox catches an 18-yard pass from Joe Flacco, makes it 20-17. This is all in the fourth. Strange catches a 4-yard pass from Trevor, 27-17. Matt Gay hits a field goal, 20-27. Tank Bigsby, 75-yard run, 34-20. He just took off. He hit a cutback and just took off. Trey Sermon runs it in for 1 yard, 27-34. Alec Pierce catches a 65-yard bomb from Flacco, makes it 34-34. And then Cam Little at the end, Trevor drives him down, hits a 49-yarder to win the game with 17 seconds left. I liked what I saw from Trevor Lawrence. We'll go through Indiana first. 33 of 34, 44 passing, 359, 3 touchdowns for Joe Flacco, 4 sacks for 35 yards, 76.8 QBR, a 121.3 rating. He played really well. Trey Sermon, 10 for 38. They just couldn't run the ball. They ran the ball for 99 yards. They had 20 carries. They passed the ball 44 times. Not all balanced there, but they had to catch up. So, Goodson went 5 for 26. Flacco ran for 3 for 22. Sermon had a touchdown. Alec Pierce went 3 catches for 134. 3 catches for 134. An average of 44.7 a reception. That's insane. A touchdown, the long of 65 on 3 targets. So 3 targets, 3 catches, 134. That's crazy. That's what a deep threat is. That's what he was at Cincinnati when he was playing in college. Josh Downs got a lot of playing time. Not just playing time, but he got targets. He wasn't out there just running on air. 12 targets, 9 for 69, 7.7 a reception, a long of 20. So not a lot of yardage, but he was like kind of like the do it all for Joe Flacco. Adonai Mitchell finally catches some. 4 for 38 on 7 targets. Mo Alie-Cox 2 for 37 on 4 targets. Pittman goes 5 for 37 on 8 targets and a touchdown. Mo Alie-Cox had a touchdown. So he spread it around. Just, the defense couldn't hold. Flacco lost a fumble. Chris Lemons on the defense recovered one. Their defense had no sacks and had Nick Cross with an interception. On the Jaguar side, Trevor went 28 for 34, accurate, 371 yards, 10.9 yards a completion, 2 touchdowns, one pick, no sacks, 79.2 QBR, 119.5 rating. That's what we expect. That's what we want from Trevor Lawrence. Tank Bigsby won 13 carries for 101, a long of 65, 2 touchdowns. Travis Etienne goes 6 for 17. I don't know what's going on with the running back room, but it looks like Tank Bigsby is slowly taking over the running back responsibilities for the Jaguars. I hope not, because Travis Etienne is Trevor's best friend, and he is fast. But they're both fast. They're both physical. Tank Bigsby a little bit more physical. Travis Etienne can catch out the backfield better. But I hope that they still split them if they are going to do that. The 34 passes to 23 runs. Excuse me. That's okay. Balance. Okay. Not the best, but you guys won, so it doesn't matter. Brian Thomas Jr. catches 5 for 122, 24.4 average, a reception, a touchdown, the 85-yarder on 8 targets. He's your number one. Him and Christian Kirk can bounce off, but your number one is Brian Thomas. That kid's special. Christian Kirk, 4 for 88 on 4 targets. Travis Etienne, 6 for 43. You see he's a better catcher on 7 targets. Gabe Davis, 3 for 38 on 4 targets. Tank Bigsby caught one for 28. Brenton Strange caught 4 for 24 and a touchdown on 4 targets. Gabe Davis fumbled, lost it. Bigsby recovered a fumble, and Josh Hines Allen, formerly Josh Allen, he also recovered a fumble on defense. Their defense got 4 sacks. Sacks came from Josh Hines Allen and 3 sacks from Trayvon Walker. Wow. Now we're seeing the number 1 pick potential. Now we have 5 sacks. He's tied for 5th in the league. He has 8. He has 5 sacks. He's tied for 5th. So seeing some production finally. 3 sacks in this game going against a good offensive line. So let's see if he could keep it going. They got no interceptions. And they needed to win. Doug Peterson needed to win. Trevor Lawrence needed to show up. They had to show up. They did at home to not go to 0-5. Indy, still with no AR, still got Joe Flacco, still got, pretty good team. Just Trevor Lawrence was better this day. By the way, we went 10-4 on our picks. So we're on a hot streak here. 10-4. We're still positive. Back at it. All right, the dump bowl of the century, the toilet bowl, as you will. Dolphins beat the Patriots, as I said, 15-10. This game was unwatchable. We lost Devon Achane to a concussion. It was a Ramondre Stevenson 33-yard run made it 3-7 after we made it 3-0. Sly made it 3-10. Saunders 6-10. Saunders 9-10. and Alec Ingold runs in a 3-yard touchdown with 4 minutes and 24 seconds in the fourth quarter. Both, Drake May starting for the Patriots this week, so you know how Brissett did. And we're going to go through it. Tyler Huntley went 18 for 31, so he actually passed the ball this time for 194. No touchdowns, an interception, 3 sacks for 15 yards, a QBR of 35.6, 63.1 rating. Jalen Wright ran for 13 carries and 86 yards after Achane went down. So we did it. Raheem ran it 19 times as well for 80 yards. So Raheem looks like Raheem. Devon Achane, like I said, he went 3 for 17, but he got hurt. Huntley ran for only 7 yards on 3 carries. Reek went 6 for 69 on 9 targets. Jonnu Smith went 5 for 62 on 8 targets. Jalen Waddle went 4 for 46 on 8 targets. Odell Beckham went 0 for 0 for 0 for 0 on 2 targets. Raheem went 2 for 18 on 2 targets. So not a lot of, 195 yards receiving. Not a lot of nothing there. A whole lot of nothing. We fumbled once. We lost it. Blake Ferguson fumbled. Aaron Brewer fumbled. Jason Saunders fumbled. He recovered it. No, he recovered a fumble. Alec Ingold recovered a fumble. A lot of fumbles. Our defense got 2 sacks. Sack Sealer, Emmanuel Agba. Another Emmanuel Agba sack as we brought him back off the street. Jacoby Brissett, 18 for 34, 160. 2 sacks because no touchdowns, no picks. 2 sacks for 12 yards, 31.4 QBR, 65.8 rating. Ramondre Stevenson went 12 for 89. He got hurt, though. What does it say here? Oh, he came back into the game, so he's not hurt. He's healthy. 12 for 89, a long of 33, a touchdown. Antonio Gibson went 6 for 52. Demario Douglas was their leading receiver, 6 for 59 on 9 targets. Keyshawn Boutte went 2 for 34 on 2 targets. And Hunter Henry went 2 for 32 on 4 targets. Jalen Polk had 6 targets, only caught 1 for 13 yards. Kendrick Bourne caught 6 yards. Antonio Gibson caught 1 for 4 yards. And Ramondre caught 4 for 3 yards. Isaiah Bolden recovered a fumble. They had 3 sacks. Half from Daniel Iguale. Anthony Jennings had a half a sack. And then Jacqueline Roy had a sack. Christian Gonzalez got a pick. A nice pick. He's playing incredible right now. Probably one of the top 5 corners in the league right now, I would say. But they go to 1-4. We go to 2-3. Another 2-3 team in the AFC East. This is why the Jets, I don't know why they fired Saleh, but at the same time, I understand. This was a dumpster fire of a game. Dumpster fire. And it will continue to be until Tua plays, and for the Patriots, it's going to keep being a dumpster fire. Commanders. Boy. Did I pick the Commanders? Let me see. Yeah, I picked the Commanders. So, I love the kid. Listen, the kid is absolutely insane. Mets just won, by the way, so they take a 2-1 lead in the series. They win 7-2. So, Browns Commanders. I thought the Browns were going to be bad on offense and could not offset that with good defense against this Jaden Daniels-led and Cliff Kingsbury-led offense. Exactly what I thought. Deshaun Watson is awful. Awful. 15 for 28, 125 yards. A touchdown, 7 sacks for 33 yards, a QBR of 8.5, and a rating of 77.2. Jerome Ford went 9 for 47, couldn't run the ball. Dante Foreman went 9 for 44. They couldn't run the ball. They only ran the ball 23 times, passed it 28. So a lot of balance, but not production either way. Amari went 4 for 60 on 10 targets. Jordan Akins went 3 for 22, caught the only touchdown on 3 targets. Dante Foreman went 1 for 16. Jerry Jeudy went 1 for 16 and 3 targets. Javen Njoku went 1 for 14 on 3 targets. Elijah Moore went 3 for 11 on 4 targets. Just bad offense. Deshaun Watson lost a fumble. Martin Emerson recovered a fumble on defense. Their defense got 3 sacks. Winston Reed got half a sack. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah got a sack. And Zadarius Smith got a sack. They got JOK, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, pick. And that's it. 13 points. This shit was 7-0 Brian Robinson touchdown. Dustin Hopkins 7-3 in the second quarter. 3-10 Austin Seibert. Brian Robinson runs in against 17-3. De'Ami Brown catches a beautiful, and I mean beautiful, 41-yard dot from Jaden Daniels. Just on the sideline, running the red line down right at the pylon, and just puts it right there in his hands. Just couldn't hand it to him better. Just this kid is insanely accurate down the field. That's at halftime, 24-7-3. So it's pretty much over at this point. Dustin Hopkins makes it 24-6. McNichols runs in 31-6. Austin Seibert hits a field goal 34-6. And Jordan Akins catches a touchdown at the end, 7:02 left, 13-34. Jaden Daniels. Not his 80% completion percentage game by any standards. He went 14 for 25, 238. An average of 9.5 completion. A touchdown and an interception. 3 for 17 on sacks, so 3 sacks for 17 yards. 75.6 QBR, a rating of 85.1. He ran for 11 carries and 82 yards, so he was really productive on the ground. Austin Eckler went 6 for 67. Jeremy McNichols was 7 for 44 and a touchdown. Brian Robinson went 7 for 18, 2 touchdowns. So he didn't even run that a lot, but he went two touchdowns running. Terry McLaurin went 4 for 112 on 8 targets. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. Throw to your number one receiver. De'Ami Brown went 2 for 57 and a touchdown on 2 targets. Austin Eckler went 2 for 30 on 2 targets. Luke McCaffrey went 3 for 19 on 2 targets. Olamide Zaccheaus caught 1 ball. Luke McCaffrey, Zach Ertz caught 2 for 10 on 8 targets. You target Zach Ertz 8 times and you only complete 2. Got to get that better. Terry McLaurin fumbled and lost it. Austin Eckler fumbled. Olamide Zaccheaus recovered his fumble, and then Frankie Louvu got a fumble on defense. Their defense, 7 sacks, just dominant. Dante Fowler Jr., Dorrance Armstrong once again, picking up from last week. Jonathan Allen, Bobby Wagner 1.5, and Frankie Louvu 2.5 as a linebacker. No interceptions, just dominated the game. They're 4-1. They're leading the NFC East. Did we expect this? No. Did I think Jaden Daniels was this good? Yes. Yeah, I've seen it at LSU. He won the Heisman for a reason. The kid's insanely talented. Deep ball accuracy, when to run, getting out of the pocket. I mean, the ball that he threw to Terry McLaurin was escaping the pocket because he was getting pressured, escaping the pocket, so already off script, rolling right, sees him on the move, and just drops it in the bucket. Terry gets caught at like the 3, but drops it in an absolute bucket. Just beautiful. Beautiful playing from the kid. Breaking records already through 5 games. Let's see if he keeps it going. If he does keep it going, MVP. Lamar has something to say about that. So does C.J. Stroud. Speaking of C.J. Stroud, Texans, Bills. I picked the Texans. You might ask why did I pick the Texans? Because of C.J. Stroud. because of Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell, no Joe Mixon, still got Cam Akers. And then the defense. And 23-20. Nothing pretty. You had 3-0. Starts it with Tyler Bass. Cam Akers runs it in 15 yards, 7-3. Nico Collins catches a 67-yard bumskunky from CJ, where he just stands like this after the camera like goes to him. He just pimped it out, just saying, "Yo, this is regular. I do this every day. This is normal." But on that play, Nico, I believe, pulled his hamstring. He's day-to-day. And then after that, the offense wasn't the same because once you take the leading receiver in the league out, it's obviously going to take a little bit of adjusting, even though you have Tank Dell and Stephon Diggs and Dalton Schultz. But, they worked around it. The defense played well. Second quarter, nothing happened except a field goal by Kayumi Fairbairn to make it 17-3. Another field goal in the third, 20-3. James Cook runs it in 20-10. Keon Coleman finally shows up. Catches a little, I want to say like a 10-yard, maybe like a 7-yard, like button hook. Breaks the tackle, runs it 49 yards to the end zone. That's what we want to see. That's what we saw at FSU, the explosiveness. So hopefully they build that a little bit more. No Khalil Shakir, so that will be something for Buffalo fans to adhere to. No Khalil Shakir, that was your leading receiver coming into this week. So it's 17-20. Tyler Bass ties it 20-20, and then Kayumi Fairbairn with zeros on the clock because that's how. So let's talk about the last sequence before we get to the box score. 36 seconds left. Josh Allen gets the ball, but Texans pin them. Like, it pin them deep, like 2 to 3 yard line. He's in his end zone, and they decide to go 3 passes in a row. Second and third down were going out of empty, so they knew you were passing the ball. No attempt to run, no play action, and they take off 10 seconds off the clock. So I think like it was 26 seconds on the clock or like 16 seconds on the clock when they give it back to the Texans. CJ makes 2 plays. I think an out route, and then he throws like a little button hook right over the ball, right at field goal range, with 1 second left, just like Kirk Cousins, I think with 1 second left or like 2 seconds left, just like Kirk Cousins at Thursday Night Football, and Kayumi Fairbairn nails a 59-yarder to win the game. 4-1 to 3 and the Bills go to 3-2. Still leading the division. Josh Allen goes 9 for 30, so another bad showing from Josh Allen. 131, 1 touchdown, no picks, 1 sack for 5 yards, 55.4, 56.4 rating. James Cook goes 20 carries for 82 yards. Josh Allen runs for 54 yards on 4 carries. Keon Coleman goes 1 for 49, so on 5 targets. So target him 5 times, get 1, got a touchdown. Nice. Dalton Kincaid was 2 for 34 on 6 targets, so him and Dalton Kincaid got to figure that out. Mac Hollins 2 for 27 on 6 targets. James Cook 2 for 27 on 3 targets. Dorian Williams picks up a fumble, recovers a fumble on the defense side of the ball. Their defense catch 1 sack, Dwayne Smoot. Terrell Bernard picks off CJ once on an overthrow. And then for the Texans, CJ Stroud goes 28 for 38, 331, so pretty good. A touchdown and a pick, 1 sack for 0 yards, 78.3 QBR, a 97.6 rating. Cam Akers go 9 for 32. Dario Bungwale goes 15 for 30, so they gave him the ball more. CJ ran for 27 on 3 carries. Stephon Diggs goes 6 for 82 on 8 targets, so that's when he got the volume more after Nico left the game. Nico went 2 for 78 and a touchdown, the long of 67 on 2 targets, so he caught both of his targets. Dario Bungwale caught the ball. He went 6 for 57 on 7 targets. Tank Dell went 4 for 38 on 4 targets. I expect Tank Dell to be more involved as the year goes on. Dalton Schultz went 4 for 36 on 6 targets. Xavier Hutchinson caught 2 for 31 on 3 targets. That's after Nico left with the hamstring. CJ Stroud lost a fumble. Their defense got a sack. Khalil Davis got 1 sack. No interceptions, but they just played a clean game. And when they needed to be clutch, they were clutch. CJ gets out of there with the win. Yeah, out of Houston, but I like the uniforms, by the way, too. They were cool. All right, let's keep moving along. Bears, Panthers. I said that Caleb was going to play well. I said that defense was going to play well and that the Bears were going to pull it out. 36-10. The Bears are 3-2. The Panthers are 1-4. You go Sam Hubbard 7-0. Then DJ Moore 34-yard pass, mostly after the catch from Caleb. 7-7. Rashawn Johnson, 14-7. DeAndre Swift, 21-7. DJ Moore, a 30-yard pass from Caleb Williams, 27-7 at halftime. Cairo Santos hits a field goal, 30-7. Then Pinheiro hits a field goal, 30-10. Fourth quarter, Rashawn Johnson rushes it in. 10-36 is your final. Panthers, we're going to run through this. Andy Dalton, 18 for 28, 136. 1 interception, no touchdowns, 3 sacks for 20 yards, QBR of 32.8, rating of 61. Bryce Young played a little bit, 4 for 7, 58 yards. I didn't see that because nobody was seeing that. Chuba Hubbard went 13 for 97, so he had a pretty good day on the ground, a long of 38 and a touchdown. Jalen Coker was their leading receiver, 4 for 68. On 4 targets, Jonathan Mingo went 2 for 37 on 5 targets. Miles Sanders was 2 for 27 on 3 targets. Deontay Johnson went 3 for 23 on 6 targets. David Moore, Jatavion Sanders, both went for 13 yards. Xavier Legette, 1 target, 1 catch for 8 yards. They're not using their rookie at all. This guy has elite traits, and they're not using them. Dalton fumbled twice, recovered both of them. Chuba Hubbard fumbled. He lost it. And Tommy Tremble fumbled. He lost it. Their defense didn't do anything. They got 1 sack. Charles Harris, no picks. Just an awful showing from an awful team. You know, it's what we come to expect. Andy Dalton's not going to be the savior of that stuff. It's just not going to happen. Caleb Williams, 20 for 29, 304, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 1 sack, 8 yards, 83.9 QBR. 126.2 rating. Really nice. DeAndre Swift got the ball a lot. 21 for 73 and a touchdown. Very good. That's what I like to see. Rashawn Johnson got 10 carries for 25 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's like their short yardage back out of Texas in their second year, I believe, because he was a teammate of Bijan last year at Texas 2 years ago. DJ Moore went 5 for 105 on 8 targets. That's what I like to see with 2 touchdowns. That is your number 1 target. That's who you're supposed to be targeting. 8 targets, maybe a little bit more. Cole Kmet went 3 for 57 on 4 targets. DeAndre Swift went 2 for 47 on 2 targets. Roma Dunze, 5 for 40 on 6 targets. We're going to target him more. Keenan Allen, 3 for 33 on 6 targets. Got to target him a little bit more. Gerald Everett, 2 for 22. Kyler Gordon recovered a fumble, and Javon Dexter recovered a fumble on defense. Their defense got 4 sacks. DeMarcus Walker got half a sack. Javon Dexter Sr. got a sack. Austin Booker got a sack. Andrew Billings got a sack. And Kyler Gordon got half a sack. And Kevin Byard got a pick. Domination. I expect the Bears to keep getting better as Caleb matures. He's playing pretty well. Another rookie quarterback, the Broncos, another team that I told you would win. Actually, yes, I told you to win. The Broncos, 34-18. Bo Nix played pretty well. The defense is what really played well. Sean Payton is the type of coach where you keep giving him chances, and there's 17 chances in this regular season. You keep giving him chances, he's gonna figure it out. and he's figuring it out. He had a little jousting match with Bo Nix on the sideline, fiery. Just two competitive guys wanting to do the right thing and win. Brock Bowers caught a 57-yard touchdown, so you thought, maybe the Raiders got a little something, 7-0. Then they get to 10-0, and then 10-3. Pastor 10 returns a 100-yard interception that was overthrown to Brock Bowers at the goal line. So that is a 6-point swing right there. It's 10-10. Will Lutz hits a field goal right before half, 13-10. Jaleel McLaughlin runs it in, 13-20. And then Bo Nix runs it in for 1 yard, 27-10 in the fourth. Josh Reynolds catches a touchdown from Bo Nix, 34-10. And then Amir Abdullah runs it in, 34-18. And that's it. This was pretty dominant, though, by the Broncos after the Brock Bowers touchdown. Gardner Minshew, 12 for 17, 137. 2 for 9 on sacks, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, 46.7 QBR, 74.5 rating. Then they put in Aiden O'Connell, and they have changed to Aiden O'Connell. They sat Gardner Minshew. 10 for 20, 94 yards, and a pick. 20.8 QB rating and 42.5 rating and a QBR of 20.8. Amir Abdullah, 5 for 42 on the ground, and a long of 42, so 4 for 2. That's what the rest were. Alexander Madison went 15 for 38, so couldn't get nothing on the ground. Brock Bowers went 8 for 97 on 12 targets. Keep doing that. That's your number one target. With no Devontae Adams, that's your number one target right there. Brock Bowers, the rookie, 8 for 97, a touchdown, a long of 57, 12 targets. Yeah, use them like they did at Georgia. Jacoby Myers went 6 for 72 on 9 targets. Alexander Madison went 2 for 23 on 3 targets. Trey Tucker went 2 for 18 on 5 targets. DJ Turner went 1 for 12 on 4 targets. And Amir Abdullah went 3 for 9 on 3 targets. They threw the ball 22 times. They ran the ball 25. Actually, no, they had 22 receptions. They threw the ball 27 times, ran the ball 25. So good balance, but it didn't matter. Their defense didn't do nothing except 3 sacks. Max Crosby had 2 of them. Christian Wilkins had 1, but he's done. He's getting he has a Jones fracture. He's getting surgery. He's out indefinitely. So that's another loss for them. And then for the Broncos, it wasn't that fancy. 19 for 27, 206, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 3 sacks for 26 yards, a QBR of 26.9, 117.2 rating. Javonte Williams were 13 for 61. They couldn't run the ball much. They ran the ball for 109 yards on 28 carries, passed the ball 27 times. Sean Payton with a nice balance there. Jaleel McLaughlin went 6 for 22. Javonte Williams was their leading receiver, 5 for 50 on 6 targets. Lil Jordan Humphrey went 2 for 48 on 2 targets. Cortland Sutton went 2 for 32 on 5 targets. So, nobody got nothing. Troy Franklin, his teammate from Oregon, got 1 for 20 on 2 targets. The second target was a touchdown. He just dropped it, unfortunately. Just passed the ball for 206 yards. Not a lot of anything, really. Josh Reynolds got a touchdown on his only target for 9 yards. Just not a lot of razzle-dazzle. Bo Nix recovered a fumble. Their defense is what played well. They had 3 sacks. Nick Benito, Jonathan Cooper, and Zach Allen. They had 2 picks. Pastor 10 with the 100-yarder. They had 3 picks, but Pastor 10 had 2 of them. And one of them he ran back for 100 yards and a TD. And then Riley Moss, his mate, had a beautiful pick, high point on a fade ball down the sideline. It was just a gorgeous pick. Denver is now 3-2 in the AFC West. So these rookie quarterbacks, they're all positive. We'll see Drake May, but they're all positive. 3-2, 3-2, and 4-1. So far, so good with the picks. Cardinals, 49ers. We picked the 49ers here. They didn't think they would lay an egg. They didn't technically lay an egg, but Kyler took it from them. 7-0, 50-yard run by Kyler, just outruns everybody. Just takes off, outran everyone. Top 5 speed this year. Brian Thomas in his 85-yarder hit the highest top speed. He went 22.6 or 21.8. Kyler hit 21 miles an hour, I believe, 21.3 or something like that on his run. Then you got a Jake Moody field goal, 7-3. Then you get George Kittle catches a touchdown, 7-10. Chad Ryland hit 10-10, beginning of the second quarter. Jake Moody, 13-3. DeAndre Lenore returns a blocked field goal, 20-10. When I saw that, I was like, oh, okay, 49ers. Wisnowski hits a 26-yard field goal, 23-10, because Moody got hurt. Ryland hits a field goal, so it's 13-23 heading into the fourth quarter. And then Elijah Higgins catches a ball from Kyler Murray, 23-21. San Francisco can't do nothing with it. And then 1:37 left. Kyler Murray, takes him downfield, kicks a field goal, 24-23, and the defense does the rest. Arizona offense-wise, went 19 for 30. Kyler, 195, a touchdown, a pick, a sack for 6 yards, 60.9 QBR, 79.2 rating. James Conner went 19 for 86, ran the ball pretty well. Kyler Murray went 7 for 83, ran the ball really well in the touchdown of 50 yards. Michael Wilson went 5 for 78 on 6 targets. Trey McBride went 6 for 53 on 9 targets. Marvin Harrison Jr., 2 for 37, 2 for 36 on 7 targets. Need to give him more targets. Need to catch the ball more. James Conner, 2 for 14 on 3 targets. Greg Dortch, 1 for 7 on 2 targets. Elijah Higgins caught the touchdown. They only passed for 195 yards. Kyler fumbled. Mac Wilson Sr. Recovered one on defense. Their defense played relatively well, got 2 sacks. Naquan Jones and Chris Barnes. And then Kaiser White got a pick, and Mac Wilson Sr. Got a pick as well, which would basically sent the San Francisco 49ers into a downfall. Brock Purdy went 19 for 35 for 244, a touchdown and 2 picks. 2 sacks for 13 yards, 29.4 QBR, 62.1 rating. Didn't play well at all, technically, as the numbers speaking. Jordan Mason went 14 for 89, ran the ball pretty well. Purdy ran for 33 yards on 4 carries. Isaac Guerrero got 5 carries for 22 yards. Brendan Ayuk went 8 catches for 147, along with 53. No touchdowns, but 12 targets. And that right there is why you pay him $30 million a year. To use him like that. Not how you were using him the first 4 games. No, to use him like that. That's how you need to use Brandon Ayuk. George Kittle went 8 for 64, but then again, this is against lower tier back end for Arizona. They just play hard. Kittle went 8 for 64 on 12 targets, so Purdy really wanted to get him involved. Jawan Jennings went 1 for 13 on 4 targets. Debo went 1 for 11 on 3 targets. That was very interesting to see Debo not being that involved, and it showed on the scoreboard, of course. Jordan Mason lost the fumble. Their defense got 1 sack. They didn't play up to their standard. Leonard Floyd was the only sack. Nick Bosa got a pick. But yeah, man, they just lost. They're 2-3 now. They're just like Arizona, same in the division, 2-3. No CMC is so crazy how that impacts this offense. So crazy. Because they move the ball effortlessly when they have CMC. But his offensive impact is so large that, of course, that's why he, was in MVP talks last year and won Offensive Player of the Year. But it is understated how important CMC is for this team. Packers, Rams, we picked the Packers in this one. They played an okay game. Played a good game. They played an okay game. Josh Jacobs made it 7-0 first quarter. Kyron Williams made it 7-7 in the second. Jalen McCullough, 4-yard interception for LA. He made it 13-7. A bad interception by Jordan Love, like Will Levis, like I don't know why you would do that off the back of your end zone. And then 10-13 at the end of the half. Tucker Kraft catches a 66-yard, mostly after the catch, pass from Jordan Love, 17-13 at the beginning of the third. Tucker Kraft catches a 7-yard pass from Love, 24-13. And then DeMarcus Robinson catches a 1-yard pass from Matthew Stafford to make it 24-19 in the fourth. Like I said, the Rams are very depleted. They can't really muster up a lot of offense. It's literally the Stafford and Kyron Williams show. Basically nothing else. Jordan Love went 15 for 26, 224. Nothing crazy. 2 touchdowns, a pick. That was a pick six. Two sacks, 27 yards, 56.7 QBR. A 95.7 rating. He passed for 224. Like, it really wasn't that much. You know, Josh Jacobs went 19 for 73, so in a touchdown. Okay day. Emmanuel Wilson went 6 for 24. Jaden Reed ran the ball for 2 for 19. Tucker Kraft was the leading receiver because of the 66-yarder touchdown. 4 for 88. 2 touchdowns, 5 targets. Jaden Reed went 4 for 78, along a 53 on 6 targets. More targets, at least 10 targets for Jaden Reed. He's your number one. 1 for 20. Josh Jacobs went 1 for 21 over the air. Dontavian Wicks went 2 for 20. Malik Keith went 2 for 14. Dontavian Wicks had 7 targets and only 2 receptions. It's tough to be the most targeted guy and only get 2 receptions. Bo Milton got 1 for 12. Jordan Love fumbled, but then Xavier McKinney recovered one on the defense, as well as he got another pick, his 5th of the season. I think his 5th straight game with a pick. 3 sacks for the defense, 1.5 for Cole Brooks, a half for Preston Smith, and 1 for Adrian Cooper, the rookie. I believe it was first sack ever, and then Xavier McKinney with a pick. For the Rams, it was just tough sledding, man. Tough sledding. Stafford, 21 for 45, throwing the ball 45 times. Never a good idea. 260 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 3 sacks for 24 yards, 47.4 QBR, a 78 rating. Kyron Williams went 22 for 102 and a touchdown on a long of 30. Blake Corum ran the ball 5 times for 25 yards. So good day by Kyron. 4.6 yards a carry, but just couldn't muster anything else on the passing side. With Jordan Whittington, the rookie out of Texas, 7 for 89 and a long of 31 on 10 targets. That's what I expected because there's nobody there. Tutu Atwell on 10 targets, 6 for 58 and a long of 24. Colby Parkinson, 7 for 52 on 13 targets, so he really liked this tight end. DeMarcus Robinson went 3 for 28 on 5 targets. Kyron Williams lost a fumble, really big fumble. Their defense got 2 sacks. Kobe Turner got both sacks, and then Jalen McCullough got the pick and the touchdown. Green Bay's 3-2. Rams are 1-4. It's tough. Real surprise here. Giants Seahawks. Giants pull it out in Seattle, 29-20. No Malik Neighbors, no Devin Singletary. It started off with a Rashawn Jenkins 102-yard fumble return on defense for the Seattle. Gray, I believe, who fumbled. Hold up, let me see who fumbled. I think it might have been Gray or Tyrone Tracy. Let me see here. Yeah, Eric Gray. So Eric Gray fumbles, the rookie. Eric Gray fumbles, and it's returned for the first touchdown by Rashawn Jenkins, 102 yards. 7-0. Wan'Dale Robinson, a pass from Daniel Jones, 7-7. Greg Joseph, 10-7. Jason Myers, 10-10 at halftime. At halftime. Darius Slayton, 30-yard pass from Daniel Jones, 17-10. Jason Myers, 48-yard field goal, 17-13. Greg Joseph, another field goal, 20-13, getting into the fourth quarter. Greg Joseph hits another field goal, 23-13. Jackson Smith and Jigba catches a touchdown, 23-20. And then Bryce Ford Wheaton gets a 60-yard return on the block field goal that was going to tie the game, 29-20. That's how it ends. And the reason it got blocked is because they jumped over the center, didn't touch him, legal, and got the W there. So the Seahawks are 3-2 in the NFC West, still above the Rams. So they're with the Arizona Cardinals and the San Francisco 49ers right now, even though the 49ers are 2-3 and the Cardinals are 2-3. So they're leading the division right now, even with a loss, with this loss. Daniel Jones, 23 for 34, 257, nothing crazy. 2 touchdowns, no picks, 3 sacks for 12 yards, 72.4 QBR, 109.6 rating. Tyrone Tracy went 18 carries for 129 yards. Pretty good, with no Devin Singletary out there. Daniel Jones ran 11 times for 38 yards. Darius Slayton was their leading receiver, 8 catches for 122 on 11 targets. When you don't got Malik Neighbors, you throw to your best other receiver. I thought it was going to be Wandale. He still threw to Wandale for 9 targets. He caught 6 for 36 yards and a touchdown. Darius Slayton caught a touchdown along a 41. But I thought that Wandale would be more of the focal point, but Darius Slayton was open. He obviously caught the ball, 8 for 122. Eric Gray went 3 for 50 on 4 targets. Theo Johnson went 5 for 48 on 5 targets. Eric Gray fumbled. He lost it. That led to the 102-yard return. Daniel Jones fumbled, but Andrew Thomas recovered it, and then Tyler Nubin recovered one on defense. Their defense played really well, 7 sacks. Half a sack for Raheem Nunez-Roches, or how I say, I'm Puerto Rican, Raheem Nunez-Roche. Brian Burns got a sack. Kayvon Thibodeau got half a sack. DJ Davidson got 2 sacks. Dexter Lawrence, Sexy Dexy, got 3 sacks from the nose tackle position. The guy's incredible. No interceptions. They didn't need any. They just kind of like defense their way into this win. Gino went 28 for 40 for 284, a touchdown, no picks, 7 sacks for 53 yards, just killer. 54.7 QBR, 98.3 rating. Geno Smith ran the ball. He was their leading rusher, 4 for 72, and a long of 32. Kenneth Walker went 5 for 19. Didn't get nothing on the ground against that defense. Tyler Lockett, they only ran the ball for 11 times, threw it 40. Yikes. Tyler Lockett went 4 for 75 on 6 targets. Kenneth Walker went 7 for 57 on 8 targets. DK Metcalf went 4 for 55 on 7 targets. Jackson Smith and Jigba went 4 for 31 and a touchdown on 7 targets. Noah Fant went 3 for 24 on 5 targets. DK Metcalf fumbled and lost it. Big fumble. They were driving. Rayshawn Jenkins got the recovery. Their defense got 3 sacks. Jerome Baker got a sack. Tyrell Dodson got a sack. Derek Call got a sack. No interceptions. Just a big upset, in my opinion, for that Giants team. Not as bad as we think, but shouldn't beat the Seattle Seahawks at home. Cowboys, Steelers. I went with the Steelers. I thought your defense was going to be good. And it was. They held them to 20. But your offense couldn't score shit. And you got 17. Once again, you disappoint me. You're 3-2 in your division. I believe that still leads it because the Browns are 1-4. So are the Bengals. So you're tied at the top with the Ravens. Dallas is 3-2. So they're behind the Commanders. And I believe tied with the Eagles, if I'm not mistaken. At 3-2. The Eagles were on a bye, so next week, who are the Eagles going against? Here we go against the Browns. Oh, they're 2-2, so they're third in the division, and then Dallas is second. So they're still second in the division, even with this loss. I mean, the Steelers should, at home with Snoop Dogg in the building, and Jeff Bezos. I mean Elon Musk. I mean, you shouldn't have let that happen. It went Aubrey 3-0, Boswell 3-3. Second quarter, Aubrey 6-3, halftime. Then Connor Hayward 6-10, Rico Dowdle on a pass from Dak 13-10, Pat Freiermuth 17-13, and then with 20 seconds left on a 4th and goal, 4-yard pass to Jalen Tolbert 20-17 on a game-winning drive. Dak gets it done. 29 for 42 for Dak. 352, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, 2 sacks for 16 yards, a 70.1 QBR, a 90.6 rating. Rico Dowdle went 20 for 87 on the ground. Ezekiel Elliott went 6 for 17, 2.7 yards. I'm telling you guys, this guy can't run. He can't run no more. Jalen Tolbert went 7 for 87 on 10 targets, so he really looked for Jalen Tolbert. Jake Ferguson went 6 for 70, had some big catches on 7 targets. CeeDee Lamb, 5 for 62 on 9 targets. So he got 9 targets, but he wanted more, clearly. Although Dak threw a pick looking for him in the end zone. Cavante Turpin, 4 for 50 on 5 targets. Rico Dowdle, 2 for 27 on 2 targets. Dak Prescott fumbled and lost it, recovered it. Fumbled, lost one, and then recovered one. I'm pretty sure. No. Fumbled one, lost one, and then recovered another one that was fumbled by somebody else. Rico Dowdle. He fumbled. Dak covered it. That was the biggest play of the game because the next play is what led to the Jalen Tolbert touchdown. That was on, I believe, that fumble recovery was on 3rd and goal, and 4th and goal was the Jalen Tolbert touchdown on a little cross, playing man-to-man, got mixed up. He was open. Tight throw, but he was open. Their defense got 3 sacks, one for half a sack from Carl Larson, Odigizua with half a sack, and also Tyrus Wheat with half a sack, and Chauncey Golston with half a sack. No Micah, no DeMarcus Lawrence. So the fact that they pulled out this win is even crazier. They didn't have no picks this game. And then for the Steelers, Justin Fields went 15 for 27, 131. So not a lot. 4.9 a completion. 2 touchdowns, no picks. 3 sacks for 16 yards, a 35.6 QBR, 93.3 rating. Najee Harris went 14 for 42, 3 yards a carry, concrete feet. Justin Fields went 6 for 27. Najee Harris was their leading receiver, 2 receptions for 35 yards on 2 targets. That is why you lost, because George Pickens caught 3 balls for 26 yards on 7 targets. That means you missed them. Van Jefferson went 3 for 26 on 5 targets. Connor Hayward went 2 for 23, a touchdown on 4 targets. Pat Freiermuth went 3 for 22 on 3 targets. You're just not targeting people. Pat Freiermuth fumbled and lost a fumble. Justin Fields recovered a fumble. And Nick Herbig recovered a fumble on defense. Your defense got 2 sacks, half for Herbig, 1.5 for TJ Watt, including his 100th. Second fastest player since in NFL history to get to 100 sacks, behind Reggie White. Joey Porter Jr. caught a pick. Dante Jackson caught a pick. And even with all that, you still lose. So you win against the good teams, but when you face a mid-team, you allow this guy to win you a game with a game-winning drive at your house. I don't understand. And then finally, yesterday, Chiefs-Saints. Chiefs win. We picked the Chiefs 26-13. Nothing fancy. Kareem Hunt, 7-0 in the first quarter, a run. Harrison Buckner, 10-0 in the second. Rashid Shaheed catches another bomb from Derek Carr, 43 yards, 7-10. Harrison Buckner gets a field goal. This is all in the second quarter, 13-13. Harrison Buckner cut another field goal at the end of the second quarter, 16-7. Foster Moreau catches a touchdown. It's 16-13. And And then Xavier Worthy runs it in on a Travis Kelce, Wildcat, 3 backs in the backfield play, classic Andy Reid play. And then Harrison Butker kicks a field goal with 3 minutes and 3 seconds just to put it out of reach, 26-13. Kelce showed up, but for the Saints, 18 of 28, 165 for Carr. He got hurt, oblique. They're gonna do more testing, but he's gonna miss I think a couple weeks. But it's not so serious. Then Jake Haener came in, the rookie, went 2 for 7 for 17 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick for Derek Carr, 1 sack, for 8 yards, 65.2 QBR, a rating of 81.1. Alvin Kamara went 11 for 26. They couldn't run the ball. This defense is the best in the league. They couldn't run the ball at all. They ran 15 times. They threw the ball 28. Like, they knew they couldn't run the ball. They figured it out. Rashid Shaheed went 4 for 86. DeLong of 43 on 9 targets. Alvin Kamara went 6 for 40 on 8 targets. Jawan Johnson, 5 for 31 on 5 targets. Foster Moreau, 2 for 13, a touchdown on 2 targets. Chris Olave, 4 targets. Very strange for your number 1 receiver to get 4 targets and only two receptions for 10 yards. Very strange. Their defense, 2 sacks, 1 from Chase Young, 1 from Brian Brzee, the rookie. Caitlin Saunders caught a tip pass pick and took it back 37 yards, the former Chief. Got to check on that Derek Carr situation. Also affects the Davante Adams situation, because if Davante Adams wants to go to the Saints, but Derek Carr is not playing right now, I think that he'll probably be leaning a little bit towards the Jets, for what we're hearing. Kareem Hunt, 27 carries for 102 and a touchdown. Back to his Kareem Hunt style from KC before they let him go a couple years ago, or like 4 years ago. Patrick Mahomes ran for 6 for 22 yards, big 22 yards there. Carson Steele 5 for 12. Xavier Worthy 1 for 3 and the touchdown. Juju Smith-Schuster 7 catches, 130 yards, along of 50 on 8 targets. Pretty good for an old dude. 31 years old, I believe. Came back to where he won a Super Bowl, right back into the offense. Travis Kelce, 9 for 70. I told you you found him, a long of 21 on 10 targets. I think that's going to keep building. McCole Hardman, 4 for 33 on 4 targets. Noah Gray, 2 for 29 on 2 targets. Xavier Worthy, 3 for 25 on 6 targets. More targets for Xavier Worthy. Got to make him more part of the offense. Samaje Perine, 1 for 24. Kareem Hunt caught 1 for 15. Carson Steele fumbled. Xavier Worthy recovered that fumble. Their defense had 1 sack, but they were just dominant on the back end for the most part. Tershawn Wharton got the sack. Brian Cook got the pick in the first half and just dominated, man. 5-0. They're the best team in the league. We know it. It's no secret. It's no secret. I believe this week, let me see. No, it's October 8th. We're still far away from F1. F1, I believe, is October 20th when they go to Coda, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see this right here. Yeah, the 20th they go to Coda. So, that's it. We went 10-4. Good week. I love you guys. God bless you. Watch out for the Hurricane Milton. Thoughts and prayers to everybody out there. Be safe. Keep your family safe. Like, subscribe, hit the comments, hit the notification bell. Follow me on all my socials. I love you guys, and I'll leave you with the outro.